Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are Creighton Gaynor, been on the show from Natural Talent Music. Creighton, welcome. Yeah. Nice to see you.
Thanks. Great to be back.
And Ryan Jeter, guest in the studio for the first time, but friend from a long way back.
Long way back, yeah.
Ryan is a founding member of Euforquestra, and you split with the band to go to Colorado. But now you are back in Iowa, because I was going to make a joke about how, if it's in mid-July, of course you're in Iowa, because
yes,
even Camp Euphoria ends, but you just are drawn magically to Iowa in the middle of July.
That's kind of how the Cedar Rapids concert got put together. It was kind of like, well, we're going to have something right around the time Camp Euphoria would be. It wouldn't be the same if we didn't try to get back here for it.
Y'all have a concert coming up on the 22nd of July. It's also going to feature another friend of the show and friend of the station, the great Kevin Burt.
Yeah.
It's you've put together a great lineup, Creighton. For those who, let's start with just kind of review and talk a little bit about Natural Talent, because we've talked about it before, but just give us just a little background about your organization and kind of what you're trying to accomplish with your scene.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. All right, so Natural Talent Music is the company. I use that to do booking and put together a lot of different events in the eastern Iowa area, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, and the Quad Cities as well. And it's really a kind of a mixture of different things that we do at Natural Talent. We just kind of book events. We'll work with artists individually, work with venues and different people to collaborate and put things together, book some things for their event, even if it's not a Natural Talent music event. So we do a lot of different things. We've been working on a series here over the past couple of years called One World. So that's the series that this show is going to be part of. And it's really about trying to bring different types of music, different types of people together, just to kind of celebrate and have a good time. We've done, Brazilian shows and all sorts of different conglomerations of things, some reggae mixed with hip hop, some calypso, some zydeco, and we have a lot of things coming up as well too. So this one's going to be fun because it's going to kind of really hit on that funk, that soul, that jam, that dance music. That's like, everybody thinks it's like, basically this is just American music, and it is, but the influences are across the board from around the world. So we thought this would be kind of fun to put together with Ryan's new project and Kevin Burt.
Ryan, I don't want to, dwell too much on Euforquestra from back in the day,
sure.
But it was, those of us who followed that band for a long time, it began as a real Afrobeat band.
Right.
And then evolved into a real, I would call it a funk band.
Yeah.
That was how, that was how I at least heard it. So tell me a little bit about the transition back when that happened, because I think it's going to kind of inform what you're doing now.
Sure. I mean, we were very, very driven on different styles of music. It's kind of what attracted me to working with Creighton. I first saw your interview with Creighton when he put it up. I watched that and I was like, oh man, I got to get involved in this somehow. This is exactly what I'm looking for, this kind of thing. So it's always been a passion of mine to do that kind of work. The Afrobeat thing was we always kind of came to the music as a form of an academic project. What can we do to mold different styles of music together and stay true to, the origins of that music in a way that, comes out somewhat unique for the style that we're playing, but also can celebrate where those styles come from. So we went that direction for quite a long time. And, of course, that just leads to other types of music, which lead to other types of music. We're trying to get out and play as many shows as we can. So we're then trying to do more song-oriented music. We still joke back in the day, we would do concerts and we'd do some of this Afrobeat music, and some of those songs were 12 minutes or more. There's some audiences not quite, prepared or understanding exactly what that is. So we thought, okay, let's dial it back and figure out how to do, music for radio, and what does that look like? And that kind of led down the path that it's been going ever since. You're kind of on the expanded artist roster these days for Euforquestra. I know that the band is not split up, but the members have a lot of other projects. And, yeah.
And you returned to Iowa a few years ago.
Yes, I did. I returned to Iowa. The band, I wouldn't, it doesn't feel like I ever split from the band. It just was like, guys, I got to step back. I've got little kids now and I got to do what I got to do. And other people have done the same thing. It's still like going home when I play with that band, and they're kind of all in a similar situation these days. Maybe I just attacked it first. But it's also quite refreshing to have gotten a break from doing that, because the work that we put in was, I think there were years we played 200 shows for the year. There were weeks where we played 11 concerts in 7 days, from doing radio concerts to like après ski concerts and things like that. So it was nice to take a step back and to remember why are we playing this music? Why are we writing this music? And I certainly needed that, and I had to put the music down for quite some time just because of my kids, out of necessity. And I'm not one who's very good at doing things in a partial way. So I had to just say, no, I can't even open that door to music right now, because as soon as I do, I obsess over something, and then suddenly my kids don't know who I am, or whatever it might be. So I had to just hone in and focus.
So you moved back home-ish to Des Moines. Been there for a few years. Kids are now in school, so you've got a little bit more time. And this has led you to create the band Mind at Large.
Yes.
So tell me what your sound, how do you describe the band?
It's very strange to try to describe, but let me give the origins of how it came about, because I think it actually helps a little bit. So between the time of Euforquestra and the time of Mind at Large, the music industry seemed to have changed so much so that when I came back, I thought, well, I mean, a person can do anything now. And so you can make music with other people it doesn't really matter how far away they are. You can just continually make music with people. So I kind of came at it that way. COVID happened, and as it did with many people, it had us questioning the meaning of life and what is it that we value in life. And, it kind of brought me back to music and project-oriented work, where it's a long-term project. You're trying to come up with something and do something unique, art in general. So at the same time, somebody I went to college with, Jay Foote, who's a bassist, he had been out in New York, and he, at the time, was the bassist for Hamilton on Broadway. And he moved back to Des Moines for a similar reason. COVID hit those guys out there harder than it did here, I presume. He had to come back, and we met up again and I had this idea to say, hey, let's create a backup band. Let's get a backup band. We'll put a backup band together. Let's write music and invite Iowa musicians to play with us that may put them outside of their box a little bit and have them do what they do with a different band and see how this goes. One of the first people I reached out to was Kevin Burt, and this was over a year ago now that I talked to Kevin. And Kevin said, yeah, this is a good idea. I like the idea. Let's get it more solid and moving forward. So I just started writing music, and I just wrote for an entire year. Well, I needed to get somebody to write lyrics, so I sent stuff over to Matt Wright. He's a fellow Euforquestra member. He's out in Colorado still. He's kind of in a similar position where he's, trucking along, working, and looking for another creative outlet. So I sent him music that I produced at home and said, hey, do you got any ideas for this lyrically? Because I'm not so much of a lyricist personally. I play the saxophone, so there's not a lot of times where you do both at the same time. And he said, yeah, sure. And he'd record some stuff and send it back. And, well, that just got me going. And I started writing, and then I started sending back to him, and he would send it back to me. And by the time we were done, we had several tracks that just needed to be recorded. And so that's kind of how it got started. We just started playing gigs. And so to say what this band is now, the Mind at Large is kind of like anything that it wants to be. I think that it's going to be a multifaceted project. I think it's going to have different members at different times, recording different styles of music. This first EP is 4 tracks. The reason we're doing it in smaller tracks is because, well, the next EP is going to be a whole different sound. It's already done. We haven't recorded it, but the music is finished. It's not going to fit in with this first EP, and there'll be some different members in it. So it's kind of hard to say what it is exactly, but it's a conglomerate of people that want to make good music, and from a distance.
Well, I've heard it, and we've had it on the station a little bit, and more as we get closer to the concert, and it's really tasty stuff.
Cool. I'm glad you like it.
Really fun stuff. And you mentioned you started as a backup band or a backing band.
Yeah.
And this has led you to go to work with some vocalists too.
Yeah. So, well, the first one was Matt Wright. He's the one I'm kind of wanting to feature because he's an incredible vocalist, incredible musician, great songwriter. Working with him is easy because he'll send me something back, and then suddenly I have 1,000 ideas. It's like
and your brothers, you know,
it's
each
like
other.
yeah, we know each other well. We come from the same school essentially, so I know what he's thinking. I think he knows what I'm thinking. So it's a very natural fit. I wanted to start with something that could produce quickly. Though Kevin is a great option, I think we needed more infrastructure first to move forward and work with somebody like Kevin. And just playing with him on the 22nd here in Cedar Rapids is going to be a treat, and we'll get to talk some more and talk about something in the future. It's also led me to work with Annie Kemble. Annie Kemble is an up-and-coming vocalist in the Des Moines area, and she's got a new album coming out. Hopefully it'll be done by August. We just had a session a couple of weeks ago, and I am just beyond thrilled at how it's coming. It's going to sound unbelievable, amazing. I'm very happy to be a part of it and glad to write for it. It's just pure joy to record. It was very improvised in the studio. We came in, she had some ideas that were put down, and then we just worked through horn lines.
So Creighton, we've got Ryan and Mind at Large and Kevin Burt, Big Medicine, is part of this, and you've got a DJ.
I do,
and that is going to be. Is that going to kind of be an Afrobeat thing?
Phil does.
He does a
around
little bit of
the
everything,
world,
huh?
man, all over the place, and that's why I love working
World.
with him.
I should say Worldbeat, not Afrobeat.
Yeah, Worldbeat. There you go.
Worldbeat,
There you go.
yeah.
That's what we call it. So yeah, he's great. His name is PhDJ.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. His name is actually Phil Ricks. If you're in Iowa City, you've probably seen him around at different clubs and different events and stuff. He's one of those DJs that I really like working with him because not only is he just a nice, cool, laid back guy, smart guy too, of course, with a PhDJ, but he has his thing. He knows what he does. But he's one of those DJs who really works with the crowd. You know, he really kind of feels it out, puts some stuff out there and see if they get it. All right, maybe we can do a little bit more. Let's go to this direction. Okay,
He's flexible.
They're feeling it, so let's do this. Let's throw this. You know, he's one of those guys. And it's all, well, not all, but when he does a set, like when we work together, it's mostly a blend of world music, whether it's like reggae, any different style of reggae or Afrobeat. A lot of the Latin stuff from around the world. Throws in some Brazilian stuff as well. Phil knows that I like soca a lot, so whenever I'm around, even if I didn't book him for a gig, I show up and he puts on some soca for me. He's one of those guys, right? So he's going to be a really fun one.
Who doesn't like soca?
Exactly.
You can't not like soca.
Soca is where it's at. People need to know. So,
It's One World from Natural Talent Music with Mind at Large and Kevin Burt and PhDJ. I started to say the convention is DJ comes first, so I have to think backwards. But this just sounds like it's going to be a blast. The Olympic Southside Theater.
That's right.
One of our great venues.
Yeah.
Great new-ish place to listen to music.
Yeah, happy to be working with Steve Shriver on that.
Yeah,
as am I.
Steve is
it's been a joy, just the whole process putting the show together. I've had a blast.
Absolutely.
It feels like a team.
Easy to work with and just like, let's do it, and it's really, really fluid and flexible. It's great.
Creighton, what's on the boards for Natural Talent coming up?
Yeah, great question. All right, so July 22nd, we have that coming up, of course. It's going to be a great show, so please come on out. The next one we have coming on, I'm doing a collaboration with the South District Neighborhood Association in Iowa City. They have a diversity market that happens every Saturday from July 8th through August 19th, 3 to 7 p.m., Pepperwood Plaza in Iowa City. The last one on August 19th, we're going to start at 3 o'clock again that day. We'll have diversity market as normal, so the vendors will be out there selling all sorts of stuff, food and crafts and different things, different services. But then we're going to have a lineup of 5 bands that are going to play that day. Normally there's maybe 1 or 2 acts, and we do have acts every week, but that day on August 19th, we've got 5 of them lined up. And they gave me a little bit of rope and let me kind of put my world sort of influence into it. So starting out that day, we're going to have a really good steel band from Madison, Wisconsin. They're called Panchromatic Steel. So they're going to come down and play. If you haven't heard steel band before, or steel pan in general, please come and check it out because it's just really, really cool. It's really, really fun. Then we're going to have Larity and the Positives from Des Moines, a reggae band from Des Moines. They're coming back. They were just here a few weeks ago for an Arts Fest after party. They're going to come back and play that festival too. The Feel Right from Des Moines is going to be here as well. Soul, R&B, and good dance music stuff. Really, really happy to have Lowdown Brass Band from Chicago. They're going to come over and visit us. It's a brass band, so you're going to get that brass band feel, that New Orleans influence, but they also throw some hip hop in there as well, so it's a little bit different of a feel than the typical New Orleans style brass band. Again, really, really great. Please come out and check them out. And then closing out that show is going to be one of our favorites, Alto Mais. So come and check out.
Yeah, it's been a good salsa band summer. We had them this spring at our Taste of Jazz. They played a blistering set at the Jazz Festival just last weekend. It was just
like it was hot, or it was
both.
I wish I could have been here. We were out of town for
they are in fine form these days.
Right on. Around that, with that date, check out the Ideal Theater's calendar as well, because a couple of those bands we're trying to get them up here to Cedar Rapids, because this thing is in Iowa City. We're trying to get them up here to Cedar Rapids and Ideal Theater the Friday the 18th and Saturday the 19th. We're still working out the details, but
of August.
Of August, yes. Thank you. So check out the Ideal Theater's webpage. Stay in touch with them, or check with Natural Talent Music. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well, and we'll keep you informed there. September 29th is the next one after that. Working with CSPS up here in Cedar Rapids. Working with a really good local band, Dr. Z's Experiment. Love those guys. I've played with, I think, all of them in different projects, but they're awesome. And working on pairing them with another brass band, but a different kind of brass band, more of the New Orleans feel, less of the hip hop, but a different sort of soul element to that as well. So we're working on that, and we'll announce that here pretty soon too.
Wow, a lot of stuff coming up.
Hey, got to keep it fun.
Yeah. So Creighton, mention again how people can find Natural Talent Music online,
Absolutely.
Where you are.
Facebook and Instagram is where we are right now, Natural Talent Music. Instagram, I'm at NatTalMuse, so NatTalMus. And that's the same for the email address too. So if anybody wants to email me or get in contact that way, just nattalmuse@gmail.com.
Ryan, where can we find you online?
Well, we have a website. It's mindatlargeband.com, and then we're on Facebook. That's a good way to see all the dates and things like that too. That's just Mind at Large. It is the @ symbol for @ and not the word @ Mind at Large.
Same. At NatTalMuse,
yes.
Well, like I said, Ryan, I really dig all the new stuff. Looking forward to hearing it live on the 22nd.
Yep.
Again, it's Natural Talent Music's One World with PhDJ, Mind at Large, and Kevin Burt coming up at the July 22nd at the Olympic Southside Theater, and all the other stuff that Creighton has going on. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.